Hey everyone, today we are diving into something I think we've all seen and, let's be honest, probably all done ourselves at some point. That fierce, almost stubborn refusal to ask for help, even when we're clearly struggling. So let's get into why we do it.
You know the scene, right? Someone's wrestling with a piece of IKEA furniture, or they're just completely buried at work, or maybe they're just trying to carry way too many groceries in one trip. You can see they need a hand, but they just won't ask. So the real question is why? What is actually going on underneath it all?
Our first instinct is to just label it as stubbornness, maybe pride, or even ego. We watch someone struggle and we think, why are you making this so much harder on yourself? But what looks like a simple, almost silly choice from the outside is actually a little window into a much deeper, way more complex internal world. Okay, so to really get this, we have to kind of shift our whole perspective. Asking for help, it isn't just a practical thing. For a lot of us, that one simple question, hey, can you help me, can feel like a massive threat to our very sense of who we are.
Because, and this is really the key to the whole thing, the struggle is almost never just about the task itself. It's not about the heavy box or the confusing instructions or the tricky problem.
No, it's about our identity. It's about who we see ourselves as in the world. For someone who really truly values being self-reliant, needing help can feel like a personal failure, like a crack in the very foundation of who they believe they are. This right here, this really breaks down that internal thought process perfectly. On the outside, all we see is someone asking for help. But on the inside, that person might be feeling like they're surrendering their independence. So struggling alone isn't really about the struggle. It becomes this act of defending who you are. It just perfectly shows that disconnect between what's happening and what it feels like is happening. So, what's fueling this whole internal defense system? Well, the first big piece of the puzzle is a fundamental human drive, our need for autonomy. Autonomy is basically our desire to be the author of our own story. It's that deep gut feeling that we are in control, that we're capable, and that we can handle our own stuff. It's actually a core psychological need for our well-being. And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. When being autonomous is a huge part of your identity, accepting help feels less like teamwork and more like an admission of defeat. It's like you're literally handing over the controls and saying, I'm not competent enough to do this on my own. Okay, so that's one piece. Now let's look at the second key factor that builds on top of this. Beyond autonomy, there's another really powerful force at play here, and that's our preference for guarding our inner world. Now, this isn't about being secretive or antisocial, not at all. It's about being selective. It's this belief that our vulnerabilities, our challenges, our moments of, I don't know what I'm doing, that those are personal. They're meant to be handled on our own terms, or maybe shared with a very, very small circle of people we deeply trust. So why this need for privacy? Well, it actually serves a few purposes. It helps keep a personal struggle contained, so it doesn't become this big public drama. It's also a way to avoid all that well-meaning but totally unhelpful advice, or even worse, judgment from others. But most importantly, it lets us stay in control of our own story and handle our own challenges our own way. So when you put these two big ideas together, this deep need for autonomy and this preference for privacy, you start to see that this isn't just random stubbornness. There's a real logic to it. We can actually reframe this whole behavior as a deliberate protective structure, what you might call an architecture of independence. And thinking about it this way is a really powerful shift. Instead of seeing it as a character flaw, we can start to see it as a carefully built psychological system. It's like a fortress that's been constructed, brick by brick, to protect a person's sense of self-reliance and control from what feels like a threat. You can even see how it's built. The foundation is that deep-seated need for autonomy we talked about. Then the walls are built out of a desire for privacy to keep struggles contained. And the whole point of the structure? To hold up this core identity of being self-reliant. It's an intentional design, even if we don't realize we're doing it. So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. When we see someone refusing help, we are not just seeing stubbornness. We're actually witnessing a defense mechanism in action. It's a system that has been carefully, maybe even painfully, built over a lifetime to protect a core sense of who they are, their competence, and their control. And that leaves us with one final, really important question to think about. This whole architecture is built for protection, but at what point does that fortress, the one designed to keep us safe and in control, actually become a prison that isolates us and stops us from getting the connection and the support that we all need. Something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me.